Hello everyone, it's me Kirsten. How you doing? This is the It's Giving Mystical podcast, and this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of July 19th. We are about to enter Leo season. We are about to encounter this beautiful full moon on the 21st. That will happen, I think it's Sunday or Monday. And I'm just wondering what that's been like for you. Think about this last month, June 21st to July 21st. What's the thing? What's the thing kind of ringing your bell, or the things ringing your bell for better or worse? What are the ways that your world has shifted? Maybe in ways that feel really good and empowering, and maybe in ways that are devastating. Both and, man, that's life. That's the way we're living. And actually it reminds us that if things are relatively easy, like we're just having our daily stresses, maybe we can soften into a little more peace, like a little more enjoyment of the peace. We're so busy. Our brains are so busy. And the energy has been so intense these past couple of weeks. All of that wand energy just kind of like churning things up for better or for worse. So wherever you are, I hope that this full moon brings you some kind of resolution, some kind of clarity or bow on the package of whatever was first churned up or first made clear to you on that June 21st, that first Capricorn full moon. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing the difference a day makes, a week makes, a month makes. Time continues and life unfolds, and staying present with it is just so important. It's like the thing. It's the thing. It's like the one thing. That sounds so easy, and it can be so difficult. We really are such creative little beings, and we can get in our own way, which is interesting because the card I pulled for us this week is the Seven of Swords. Nobody loves to see the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is a little bit of a tricky card, really truly known as a tricky card, tricky energy, a little bit of deception. But if we break it down to what the Seven of Swords is saying to us, it's saying that there is mystery around our air energy. So the 7 is going to be mystery, transformation, shifting. 7s always kind of bring a little bit of a cloud to our vision. And so that doesn't mean it's not an interesting, powerful dynamic and exchange that's happening. It's not happening in a linear way. It's not happening in a rational way. It's not happening in a conscious way. So the Swords energy is our air energy, right? It's our minds, our thoughts, our ability to communicate. When we bring 7 and air energy together, it becomes this a little bit of a mystery around the ways we think, the ways we communicate. And so this card has the name Deception. And when I first pulled it, obviously, I have a whole narrative of what comes to mind when I pull that for us in a week, but I really wanted to take my time with it. I sat with it for quite a while. I even pulled out some old books and was reading through, because there's something about even my explanation of it that feels like not deceptive, but not, can we get to the meat of this? It's even hard in talking about it and describing it as an energy to understand that there's nothing to grasp. And so that's annoying, right? Our words are attempting to grasp. They're attempting to make the formless into something formed, into something that we can exchange with each other. And so even me, your lovely tarot reader, your lovely guide in this mystical realm, when I get the 7 of Swords for our weekly energy, I even doubt my words. I even doubt my messages. So the message that comes through is be careful. The message that comes through is take your time. The message that comes through is not all is as it appears to be. And deception can be lock your car, check your wallet, it can be, check your credit cards. It can be very functional. It can also be someone being dishonest with you. It can be someone trying to angle or strategize with you. It can also be you angling, you strategizing. The thing to remember about tarot, the thing to remember about these energies, the thing to check yourself on when you feel that idea of good card, bad card, is it's all true. All the cards speak to truth, and every one of us has tried to angle. Every one of us has tried to strategize. Every one of us has tried to get their way. Every one of us has tried to hustle. Every one of us has lied. We've all done the thing that we might look at from a distance and be like, oh man, all that deception, we should be careful, and let's look at the political landscape, and yeah, for sure. And what about you, man? What about you? It's it reminds me of Breakfast Club. Judd Nelson. What about you, Dad? Like that, with that kind of energy. Sorry, I crack myself up if nothing else. And that idea of like, what about you, Dad, in terms of deception? Like, what about you, boo? What about you? And so it's a many-layered message. The message is slow down, trust your instincts. If something feels shady or something feels off or something feels too mysterious, too unclear, trust yourself. Do what you need to do to make sure that you feel safe in that environment, that you're moving at a pace that feels right on for you. If someone comes to you or you experience something where the wool's pulled over your eyes or you're tricked or someone's angling or you can feel that someone's on a charm offensive trying to get you to do something, it's okay to recognize that. It's okay to experience that because we have all played the fool, man. We have all played the fool. I'm going to be the fool sometimes. I'm going to be the one playing tricks sometimes. In the original card, it's like a guy kind of walking away from an encampment and he's got 5 swords in his hands and he's left 2 behind. It's just a funny card because everyone's like, that's a battlefield and those are the enemies and he's, like disarming the enemy by walking away with the swords. Or is it a circus and is he a sword swallower and like, is he just a kid playing a neighborhood prank? Is there menace in this card or is there just human nature? The idea of like you just get bored so you get up to no good, especially with kids. You know how like you get bored, you get complacent, and it's like you almost can't help but looking for a little bit of trouble. That's the energy of the 7 of Swords. And the interesting part about this is that he's holding the swords in the weirdest way. He's slicing up his hands. He's not being very clever about this. There's some way in which you can read this energy as not really a gouge your eyes out deception, more of like a, come on, man, like, no. When I was young and living in Chicago, I was walking down the street with my mom, and this guy came up to us and he was like, oh my God, my car broke down and I'm like really struggling and I have to get my way to church. And my mom was like, oh my God, what can I do? And I think she gave him like $20, $50. I hope you get to church on time and God bless. And my mom's like, loved her Jesus, loved her church. And she also loved her tarot. So like we all contain multitudes. But she loved like the idea of supporting this guy, getting his family to church. And I was like, I don't know, but it's cool. It's her money. It's like he seemed harmless. Literally the same day, we're on another side of the city. We're all the way downtown. Same guy comes up to us. Oh my God, my car broke down. And I looked at him. My mom was kind of just stunned. And I looked at him, I'm like, you already talked to us up on like Wells Street. Like we've played this con on us earlier today. That man turned and ran so fast. Like I wasn't going to go after him. I wasn't going to be like, give me my $50 back. Give my mom $50 back. Sense of like, come on, man. Why? And you can have that experience like with your kids or someone you love and they tell just like a little white lie. And it's like, why? Interesting question, right? Or notice this week when you tell a little white lie, when you just want to like kind of soften the edges, soften the punch. And so you tell a story that may or may not be totally accurate. What I'll say to you is what I say to my kids, it's not really like good or bad, but a lie binds your energy. So even the white ones, like even the small ones, there's like this kink that happens in your energy. And what I'm hoping for in my life and what I'm hoping for my children and what I'm hoping for all of us is that we allow ourselves to be more at ease in our bodies, in our field, in the world, that we accept ourselves more fully as a way to reflect and heal all of the ways in which people are told that they're not okay, right? Like if I can really believe that I'm okay, if I can really trust life and really trust magic of my integrity, the purpose of my medicine, my vibration, that maybe I can inspire that in you as well. And so when we tell a little lie, a big one for sure, don't do that, please. But if we tell a little lie, it's like we're just kind of kinking it. We're just kind of kinking the hose a little bit. And why? It's a great question. Like what usually to create some kind of short-term comfort, like if I could just make it comfortable now, but what ends up happening is that energy doesn't go away. That kink continues out into the field and you end up facing the consequences of that. And sometimes that little tiny kink can take on a much bigger energetic impact when it comes home to roost. So the 7 of Swords asks us to really think about truth, to think about how about if someone tells you a story or tells you a lie and they're not telling the truth. Definitely had some experiences with addiction when I was growing up, and there'd be that moment where they would say to you something and they're lying, and they know they're lying, and then you sit there and you're like, I guess I'll just nod my head and agree with you about the lie. Why? Like as a child, that's survival. But as a grown woman, Why would I do that? And I'm sure I've done it. I'm sure if I track back, I've done it. I try not to do it. I try to do it less and less. I also try not to shame someone for the lie they're telling, but am I going to collude in the lie? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. And so there's something about just this idea of noticing mystery around our air energy, learning mystery around language, trusting the energetic feel, the energetic truth that might be existing behind the words, behind the language, and just noticing that, noticing how you collude in that, noticing when that shows up in your field, maybe becoming aware of the impact that has on your body. How does it feel to you? How does it feel to you to be contributing to that energetics? How does it feel to you to be out of integrity with other people? Either they prompt it or you prompt it. Do you stop it? Do you say, I actually don't want this to be the way I live. I don't want this to be my life. And own that. And when you don't own that too, it's all right. It's all this kind of dance we're doing backwards and forwards. But there's a real awareness around that this week. A real awareness around the spells that words cast. So I was in the grocery store. Oh my gosh. And me and Gay Hendricks and time, right? The quantum time thing. We are self-sabotaging around time all the time. And this woman was in line in front of me and she seemed really sweet, but she launched into the cashier I'm always late, I'm always running behind, I can never catch up no matter what I do. She just went on and on. It took everything in me, and only because Griffin was standing next to me and I would have embarrassed him, to not knock her, tap her on the shoulder, knock her in the head, tap her on the shoulder, and be I know it's none of my business, but I would maybe get curious about your sorcery around time because you seem to be weaving a mighty spell around your life and around your field. Notice that. Your words have such power. Cast a spell with your words. I know that's a little cliche, but there's a truth to it. There's such a power to your language. There's such a power to the intentionality behind the movement you make by communicating a thought or an idea internally or out into the world. Okay, so now let's cut to the flip side, to the fun side. The seven of swords can really be an interesting place to play with your thoughts, to play with language, to play with poetry. The seven of words, I keep saying it, seven of words, seven of swords. That's so interesting. I've never made that mistake before. Life. Seven of swords is an interesting perspective on there's something, I'm making some kind of magic here. There's some kind of playfulness here. There's something that can be cracked open. There's some riddle that can be unknotted in this time. I just did a beautiful exercise with two of the consultants that I'm working with. They introduced me to this team that's called Rapid Impact. It's on my Instagram. It was this beautiful thought process, this process, kind of a hypnosis, question and answer, self-hypnotic process. He used words to kind of minimize and then maximize this or amplify this negative feeling into a positive feeling. That's seven of swords energy. I am making magic with my words. Hypnosis, seven of swords energy. How can we use the apparent solidity of language? How can we break it apart and play with it in a way that allows us to experience something deeper, something new? How can we alchemize our experience of living in this body by playing with our language? The idea of going seven of swords, seven of words is a perfect example of that. So if you think of this card this week as the seven of words, there's mystery around words. That might have a very different impact. You might feel that in your body in a way that you wouldn't have if you were just talking about the swords. Okay, so that was chatty. I had a lot to say about that. I could go on about this. This card felt very rich. I feel like this energy is going to be felt in a dynamic way, a very multi-leveled way. And I encourage you to allow the playfulness around, the mystery around language, around words, around thoughts, to be something you can stay with and be curious about this week. Because I think as much as there's a possibility around deception or self-deception or over-strategizing or colluding in things that actually don't feel good anymore, there's equally this opportunity to rework our language as a way to empower ourselves to encounter breakthroughs, to encounter new ways of thinking, new ways of operating, new frames and new frameworks for operating. You think you have to be the way you've always been. What if you kind of cracked open those words and realized that some of your assumptions are just that? How might you rewrite a story in a way that empowers you to hold that same energy with more grace, more ease, more calm? Could it feel good? Could you take something that's been a knot or a riddle in your life and untangle it this week? It's really beautiful. That's it. 7 of Swords, 7 of words. So much love at you, and I'm with you, and may you have the energy and the perspective to play, to take it all a little less seriously this week. Cheers, happy full moon, happy Leo season, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.